explain why there was opposition to the demands for social reform, which were caused by the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution in Britain, c. 1750–1850, created severe social problems, including poor working conditions in factories and mines, overcrowded and unsanitary urban housing, child labor, long working hours, low wages, and widespread disease in new industrial towns. These issues sparked demands for social reform from workers, radicals, and some humanitarian reformers, e.g., factory acts to limit child labor, public health improvements, and better poor relief. However, there was significant opposition to these demands from various groups and for several interconnected reasons. One major reason for opposition was the deep-seated fear of revolution. The French Revolution, 1789, and the subsequent wars with France, 1793–1815, created widespread alarm among the British ruling classes that any concessions to the lower orders could spark similar violence and upheaval in Britain. Radicals' and workers' demands, such as those from the Luddites or early trade unionists, were often viewed as the first step towards republicanism or mob rule. Governments responded with repression, including the Combination Acts 1799–1800, which banned trade unions, and harsh measures against protests like the Peterloo Massacre, 1819. This fear made elites reluctant to support reforms that might empower the working classes or weaken authority. A second key factor was the dominance of the political system by groups with vested interests against reform. Parliament, particularly the House of Commons, before the 1832 Reform Act, and the House of Lords, was overwhelmingly controlled by landowners, wealthy businessmen and professionals. Many MPs were factory owners or had close ties to industrialists who benefited from cheap, unregulated labor. They had little direct experience or understanding of the harsh lives of the urban working classes and often dismissed demands for better housing, shorter hours, or factory regulation as unnecessary interference. Landowners also feared that social reforms would increase taxes or rates to fund improvements like sewage systems or poor relief, threatening their own wealth. The laissez-faire ideology prevalent among the middle and upper classes reinforced this view. Government should not intervene in the natural workings of the economy or the free labor market. Economic self-interest provided another powerful motive for opposition. Implementing social reforms, such as limiting child labor, improving factory safety, or providing better public health infrastructure, would raise costs for employers. Factory owners argued that regulations would reduce profits, make British industry uncompetitive against foreign rivals, and lead to higher prices or unemployment. For example, opponents of early factory acts claimed that restricting hours would damage output and harm the economy as a whole. Similarly, the New Poor Law, 1834, which aimed to cut relief costs by making workhouses deterrent, faced opposition from some quarters when radicals demanded more generous support, yet many elites supported it precisely because it limited expenditure on the poor. Reforms were seen as a threat to the capitalist system that had driven Britain's industrial success and global dominance. Additionally, ideological and class-based attitudes contributed to resistance. Many in the upper and middle classes believed in social Darwinist or Malthusian ideas, even before they were fully articulated, viewing poverty as a result of individual moral failing or overpopulation rather than systemic industrial problems. They argued that the working classes should improve themselves through hard work and thrift, not through state intervention. There was also a paternalistic or dismissive attitude. Some elites genuinely believed that conditions were not as bad as claimed, or that workers exaggerated their suffering. Humanitarian reformers like Robert Owen or Lord Shaftesbury faced accusations of being unrealistic dreamers or dangerous agitators. In conclusion, opposition to social reform demands stemmed primarily from fears of revolutionary upheaval, inspired by events in France, the political dominance of unreformed institutions controlled by self-interested elites, economic concerns about rising costs and lost competitiveness, and prevailing laissez-faire and class-based ideologies. While some limited reforms eventually passed, e.g., the 1833 Factory Act or 1848 Public Health Act, they were often permissive rather than compulsory and faced ongoing resistance. This reflected the tension between the transformative forces of industrialization and the conservative instincts of those who profited most from it. Such opposition delayed meaningful change and contributed to continued social unrest, including Chartism.